because they have nothing good to run on, nothing popular to run on. Everything they're running on is just pure trash. I sure do love me some leaked audio. So here's some leaked audio that was on TYT originally, or at least where I saw it originally. And so I thought it'd be interesting to go over it and plus include the commentary from TYT as well. I really like that channel. So if you're not familiar with the Young Turks, that's what TYT stands for, you should definitely sign up for them. They're great, progressive, independent media. They tell you the truth. They tell you their opinions. They tell you when it is an opinion and when it's not stone cold facts, which I love that about them. Anyway, my little shameless plug for them. But it's interesting when leaked audio comes out, because, Trump's like, Project 20, I don't know what this is, Project 35. No, he knows exactly what Project 2025 is. He is tied to it. And if he were to win the Oval Office again, that it will be his playbook. And he will attempt to turn this country into evangelical, far-right Christian, fanatical, fascist society, to put it bluntly. Anyway, so let's go over it.
All right, we got some leaked tapes. Take a look at this.
Meet Russ Vogt, formerly a cabinet member and chief lieutenant in the first Trump admin.
I want to thank Russ for doing an incredible job.
He now runs a group called Center for Renewing America,
an organization that I helped turn into the Death Star that is accomplishing all the debates that you are reading about. I think you have to rehabilitate Christian nationalism. You have the largest deportation in history, block funding for Planned Parenthood. I want to be the person that crushes the deep state.
Yes, Russell Vogt being very candid with two gentlemen he's sitting there with, and there's more tape of that. Why? Why was he saying those things? We'll get into it. But first of all, Russell Vogt is one of the architects of Project 2025. One of the people who is publicly running from it, but privately is boasting about it, and we'll get to it. That obviously is the sort of fascistic blueprint for a second Trump administration, replacing all federal employees with loyalists or whoever responds to Trump's posts on Truth Social first. And last month, he sat down with those two gentlemen, and he thought they were family members of big conservative donors. He thought there was money in it. Instead, he was talking to two men from the British journalism nonprofit, the Center for Climate Reporting, who were secretly recording him the entire time. Vogt is part of, again, as they mentioned, the Center for Renewing America, and was recently selected to create kind of like codify Project 2025 in a Republican policy platform. And he's looking forward to, in a Trump 2.0, having a cabinet position with Trump. But behind closed doors, this is what he was telling these two, I guess, wealthy donors who were like, who knows how much they egged him on, but let's take a look a little bit more about him saying that we shouldn't be worried about Trump distancing himself from Project 2025 because he's still in on it.
So I would think, and maybe this is just me, but if I was trying to publicly run away from something, but privately be talking about it, I'm going to make sure that who I'm talking to is who I think I'm talking to, right? I'm not going to talk to some rando guys that just happen to have British accents. I'm like, oh, you must be investors. You must be rich. You're white, you're men. Hey, how about Project 2025? You must love it, right? It's kind of ridiculous how dumb these guys are when they are if this was me, I would not be trusting some random people if I was having this nefarious agenda like this. And it is absolutely nefarious. It's about control. It is not about the sanctity of life. Fuck that. It's not anything about that. Because if it was truly about the sanctity of life, they would have a lot more support for their cause, and they don't, because it's very fringe. And there are people that are fighting back against it. There's evangelicals for Harris, which I fucking love that. And and we need more of that. If Trump is so divorced from Christian values. I'm atheist, but I understand what Christian values are. I grew up Protestant. I went to church when I was a little girl, until I was like, I don't know, about 12 or so, or about 10, I don't know. But anyway, I've been to church. I understand. I've read parts of the Bible. I've not read the whole thing, I don't think, but I've read parts of it. And you know what? Trump is like antithetical to at least the Second Testament, or the New Testament, the Second Testament, the New Testament. And it's just bizarre to me. And I think he's really scared. Like, Trump, I know, is scared because he's spiraling. And it's because his opponent is running on things, which is unlike Democrats to do, but I'm so glad that they're doing it. Anyway, let's go back to this.
I expect you to hear 10 more times from the rally, the president, distancing himself from the left's boogeyman of Project 2025.
Yeah. And you're not worried about that?
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
He's running against a brand. He is not running against any people.
Okay.
He is not running against any institutions. It's interesting. He's in fact not even opposing himself to a particular policy.
Yeah.
He's been at our organization. He's raised money for our organization. He's blessed it from the, I remember walking into our last day in office and told him what I was going to do. So he's very supportive of what we do. If a battle plan is out there that will do what he wants, there are the people like me that have his trust that will be able to get it to him in whatever position we're at. Or I could be at Center for New America, but the relationships will be there. The trust level will be there.
So don't worry if you donate to us or you donate to a Trump PAC. I will ensure that I will do your bidding. Who are you again? You have a British accent. That seems like you're rich, right? Oops, Center for Climate Reporting. Yikes. But again, so he's part of Center for Renewing America, and really, interestingly enough, the communications director of that organization, when this was leaked and released, was like, no big deal, that's fine. Her name is Rachel Colley, and she tweeted this, lol, none of this is secret. Would have been easier to just Google uncover what's already on our website and in countless media interviews, but thanks for airing our perfect conversation, emphasizing our policy work is totally separate from the Trump campaign, as we've been saying, which means that it's not. There's a little bit more from the secret footage, but Cenk, here you have it. It's incredible to me that they've even been trying to back away from Project 2025 at all. But now you have, a guy who's been promised a cabinet position saying, no, he's all in on Christian nationalism, and don't worry.
Yeah. So two disturbing things here. Let's start with how closely they're aligned, because Trump says, Project 2025, I don't even know what that is. Oh no, I disavow. Why? Because it's hurting him politically, and he's seeing the polling numbers on it, and so he's trying to get away from it. Meanwhile, this guy's saying he blessed it. We have his complete trust. Here's another quote. We've got about 350 different documents that are regulations and things of that nature that we're planning for the next administration. So they're ready to go. And by the way, one of the things they're going to do is they're saying we want to get rid of the independence of a lot of the executive branch. So, like, for example, the Attorney General and the Justice Department are independent of the president, because what if they have to investigate the president? They represent the American people. They don't represent the president and his political ambitions, right? And these guys are saying, no, we want them to only represent Trump and not the American people. So we're going to get rid of their independence. So which one is it? Has he disavowed or has he blessed it? It sounds a little bit like Russell voter fraud. And so, but the second part, of course, is, in my opinion, even scarier. I mean, destroying the American government and how it works and its checks and balances is pretty damn scary to begin with. But this guy's unabashed. He's like, no, we're trying to make this a Christian nationalist country.
I feel like no matter how hard they try to divorce themselves from Project 2025, it like glues onto them even more, because we all know, because he's been touting it. He's been talking about it for years, about this, bending toward the Christian nationalism that is just And I don't mean all Christians. I mean the ones that are like far to the right, that want to basically control everybody. I mean, they've proven it. And these are the kinds of people who don't want women to have a right to vote. These are the kinds of people who don't want women to have autonomy over their own bodies. They don't want women to be in the workforce. They want us to be at home, and if we can't like have babies, like, then there's no value in us. That's disgusting. And his running mate Vance has touted that many times, which really goes in hand with this Christian nationalism movement and their rhetoric, which is really disgusting on many levels. Anyway, so yeah, it's hurting him, and I love that it's hurting him. I love that it's hurting Trump, and he's trying to get away from it, and it's just chasing him faster than he can possibly run with his old legs, because boy is not young, and I feel like he's getting tired, in his speeches lately. Ooh, man, they've not been going well at all.
Yeah, and to your point, this was his quote. We'll get to the piece about consolidating the executive branch, but to that Christian nationalist point, Russell Vogt continued to say, we've been too focused on religious liberty. So, exactly what Cenk just said and what we believe this country was founded on, which we all support. But we've lacked the ability to argue we're a Christian nation. I want to make sure that we can say we are a Christian nation. And my viewpoint is mostly that I would probably be a Christian nationalism. A nationalist. That's pretty close to Christian nationalism, because I also believe in nationalism. Nationism, Christian nationism, that's just an idiot's way of saying Christian nationalism. All right, whatever you think that's like saying white identitarian instead of white nationalist, white supremacist. But to Cenk's point about that consolidation on executive power, this is what Vogt had to say about what they want to do should they get back into the White House.
80% of my time is working on the plans of what's necessary to take control of these bureaucracies. And we are working doggedly on that, whether it's destroying their agency's notion of independence. They're independent from the president.
So exactly right. And I think it's really funny, Cenk, that we're in a time when, the right's trying to pivot, but their line was that all of the investigations into Trump, all the classified documents investigation, the January 6th stuff, the election fraud in Georgia, all of the cases, that's all being done by Merrick Garland and at the behest of Joe Biden, when precisely, again, every accusation is a confession, because that is exactly what they want to do, is collapse any kind of barrier between the attorney general, and the president. So he would literally just be the attack dog of the president.
It really is quite telling about what Trump is kind of pushed right now. Like in his Bedminster speech yesterday, he was talking about how, I couldn't have possibly imprisoned Hillary Clinton because that's the ex-president's wife, and that would just be awful. And really, it's only because he got convicted on 34 felonies for fraud. And yeah, in Project 2025, I think it's pretty funny that fraud is one of the things they're trying to root out. But you would think they would have taken that out, or at least, I don't know. But they didn't. They left that in there. That's in one of the training videos that are online. And it's kind of amazing what his rhetoric, it's not kind of amazing. It's predictable for Trump. He's going towards this, I want complete control. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to be authoritarian. He loves authoritarian dictators, and he wants to become one because he wants everyone to admire him. He wants everyone to love him, and it's kind of gross. He's such a narcissist, and I don't mean that in a flippant way. It's amazing how all his policies are self-serving a lot to him, and then of course, some crumbs for the people who are, helping him out, but it's mostly for himself, so he can have carte blanche to do whatever he wants.
I just have to pivot to this one last piece of footage that we've got, because the journalist also interviewed an aide to Russell Vogt. His name is Michael Meadowcroft, who's basically like, oh, Project 2025 is still on. We're still like working on it. In fact, we're preparing the next phase, and Russell Vogt is helping do that. So take a look.
Yeah. Because obviously you wanted a little of it to be FOIA-able, if you're familiar with the FOIA process, as possible. Freedom of Information Act, yeah.
The Freedom of Information Act allows the public to request government communications, but Meadowcroft reveals they plan to avoid these rules.
Yeah, the goal is, familiarize all the transition team people with these plans, but you don't actually send them to their work emails, because then, you could just give the handbooks to everyone, be like, this is the game plan for the admin. Yeah. If the press knows that that's what you're doing, then they're going to immediately just say, I request all of your emails from Heritage. Okay. You worker.
I see.
So we'll see.
Interesting.
So in other words, to avoid oversight, they're just gonna use everyone's Hotmail account that they set up when they were 14. Cool, everyone's get on AOL. It's almost like they're gonna use private servers to discuss government business. Where have I heard that before? Oh my God, but here he is, Cenk, just sort of boasting, oh, we're gonna do this thing, and they're never gonna find out about it. It's gonna be great, I can tell you, big donor, right? You're a donor?
Yeah.
Please?
Yeah, and they say publicly, oh, it's okay, trust Donald Trump when he tells you that he hasn't heard of the guy that was in his administration, and we have other recordings of them talking about how they're going to do all of this, right? But you have to trust Donald Trump. And here's one of his henchmen going, now the way that we trick people is that we don't show them the real information. We send that in a way that the press can't find out, because we don't want anybody finding out what we're up to. Why? Like if you told me, hey, Cenk, if you got in the office, well, what are you going to be up to? I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be up to trying to get paid family leave pass, higher minimum wage, lowering drug prices. I don't mind you guys knowing that. Those are all incredibly popular positions. These guys are like, okay, our positions suck. Everybody hates them, and we're trying to take over their lives secretly. So now remember, this is how you make sure they don't find out. Well, okay, thanks for accidentally telling us.
You don't want to hide it, and it's like they're gonna send emails to a private server, like somebody else did, and got hounded for it for a long time. Just saying, yikes. But it's telling, because they have nothing good to run on, nothing popular to run on. Everything they're running on is just pure trash. Just trash. And that's why all Trump can do is trash talk Kamala Harris, because he can't actually do anything. He's not attacking her policy, because what is he gonna do? Oh, I'm sorry, you want your groceries to be cheaper, and he's calling it communist. I love it. I love it so much. It's no, that's not happening. That's not gonna happen. That's not what she's proposing, and that's so bizarre to make that giant leap like that. Anyway, it's really funny, and I love it when things like this get leaked out. Whoever leaked it, you're an American hero. I don't care who you are. And I hope more gets leaked about the Trump campaign, because tell ya, I got my popcorn. I'm ready to eat it. Yikes. I cannot wait to the debates that are coming up. I cannot wait. It's going to be on fire. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about this. Give me a like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Thank you so much. All those help my channel. Have a great day, night, weekend.